Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you about this new car electric charger from Lektri Co. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to tell you all the benefits, and I also have a discount code which is really awesome. So it's a really small unit. As you can see, it's basically the size of my hand. I have it installed here next to my solar inverter. It's really cool. It has a lot of benefits. It reaches up to 7.4 kilowatts of charging power, which is the fastest speed you're going to get on a single phase in Europe. But it auto-modulates it, so it regulates it. If your system, if your electrical power grid can't support that, it auto-regulates it because, well, you can get a module, a smart meter for it. It's basically a Shelly module. I'm gonna show you that. It comes with a 5 meter type 2 cable, which is standard, and you have a really cool app, and also so you can integrate it in Home Assistant, which means you can use Google commands for it to start the charge, stop the charge, tell it to start charging, I don't know, at 6 o'clock in the morning or something, which is really good for the winter time because you want your car battery to be warmed up a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you more about it. So let's dive deep into this model and let's find out all there is to know about it. You can see it's a wall mounted design, very sturdy, which is small and it's good for indoor and outdoor use. So it's resistant to weathers, to rain and stuff, and it's both for residential and commercial use, but we're going to talk about more about the residential use. But of course you can use it for commercial use and even use more of them for your business if you want to. It has a maximum of 32 amps, and as you can see, it has the charge type 2 charge cable. The design is very simple, it's minimalistic, it's very modern. It has these very simple LED strips which indicate to you what's happening. So when it's charging, when it's waiting to charge, or if something is wrong, and so on. There is no screen or control interface because everything is done through a mobile app, which is really nice. This charger is the fastest you can get on a single phase, as I said, at 7.4 kilowatts. However, from the app, you can actually reduce the charging power, which is going to be necessary sometimes. At 7.4 kilowatts or 32 amps on a single phase, that may be too much for a household, especially if you're using other appliances at the same time, so like a microwave or an oven or something. So from the app, you can decrease the power in real time, or it can do that automatically, because they offer an add-on, a smart meter, which will monitor your household energy and modify that power based on the current energy in the house, such that the main breaker won't trip. So it always regulates that power. That's really, really cool and awesome. So this is the smart meter that is an add-on, and it has a sensor, a smart sensor, which just goes on your face. It's directional, so make sure you install it the proper way. And that sensor goes here, and you just feed it to 40 volts from here. It's very easy to install. Your wires that go to your charger need to be 6 millimeters in diameter, and they need to go through a breaker, 40 amp breaker. I'm going to show you the recommendations on paper. It's also really easy to install, but you do need, so you just remove the cover. It has 2 screws here and here on the bottom, and all you need is a cable with 3 wires, and the wires have to be pretty thick, so they have to be 6 millimeters in diameter. So you have your phase, your plus, your minus, and your ground, which go into a Wago connector there. Really easy to do, really fast, and you just screw it to your backboard. It's very nice, easy. This is the Wi-Fi module, and that's all you need. So of course I'm gonna use it for home use. This is my Dacia Spring, and all I have to do is, there's an option that you can just plug it in and it charges, and that's what I chose for home use. Of course, that's what you'll choose. Whenever you want, you get home, you park next to the charger, and you just plug it in. You open it up and you just plug it in, and it works. And from the app, it tells you everything. You can stop it, start it, schedule it, everything. It's really cool. This is the breaker that I was talking about. It has to be a 40 amp breaker, and a type A with 30 milliamps. This is a diagram of how to install the smart meter, the Shelly module, which is very easy, just like I showed you before. Now, this app is really cool. This is their app. You can start or stop the charging. It gives you the instant power and how many kilowatt hours you used in these sessions. Now, because you have the smart module installed, the smart meter installed, you can also choose a load balancing mode, which means you can charge with full power. So that means there's a diagram here. This is what it means. It means that you can go with power, so that's gonna draw the maximum it can from your solar and the rest from the grid up to 7.4 kilowatts, which is 32 amps. There's also a hybrid mode that's gonna draw only a maximum of 1.4 kilowatt from the grid, and if you have solar, all the rest from solar, as much solar as you have on that phase. Now, there's also a green mode, which if you have plenty of current on that phase, it can charge only using your solar. Why I usually go for the hybrid, because if I don't have enough solar or if there's a cloud or something, I don't want it to stop charging. But you can go either way. As I said, this is a really cool app, so it has this load balancing mode, and you can choose how much current you want to allow it. So now it's currently set at 10 amps out of 30 amps, because I put the limit to be 30 amps for my setup, because my breaker is only 32 amps. I'm going to change it, but I'm just trying it out now. So that's why it's really cool, because you can change it in real time, and it gives you more information here. How much time you charged, the current, your voltage, and the total charged energy since you got the machine, since you got the device. If you go into the settings here, this is the load balancing mode. So you want to enable it if you have it, of course, especially if you have solar, and you have to choose that you do have solar available. Now, you have to choose in the smart meter your main circuit, how big it is. So it's usually 40 amps. That's what I have. Main breaker for the house is 40 amps. So what does that mean? It means that, as I explained to you before a little bit, if you want to charge it at the maximum, you can. But if you want to use another device, appliance in your house, such as a microwave or an oven or a stove, it can take you over that 40 amp limit from your main breaker, from your grid. So it can trip the breaker. But if you choose load balancing mode, if you're gonna start your microwave or stove or whatever, or your heater, it's gonna regulate down the charging power. So it's still going to charge it, but at a lesser current, which is really nice. You're not gonna trip your breaker. Or if you live in a country like Italy, they don't have 40 amp main circuit breaker, they have way less. You can use less, but still, if you're not consuming power in your house, you can go to the maximum that your grid allows, which is really, really cool. So you can set the LED brightness of those LEDs on your device, especially if it's outside. You don't want it to attract too much attention, but if you want, you can go all the way up to 100%. I have mine set at 10%. As I said, your maximum current, I set it at 30 amps. It can go all the way up to 32 amps, which is 7.4 kilowatts. It does automatic firmware update. You can schedule the charging from the app. You can factory reset it, all that cool stuff. So another cool thing about it is that you, as I said, you can integrate it with Home Assistant, which opens up a lot of possibilities for you if you have that set up. That means you can automate your charging. You can tell Google to start charging. All you do is plug it in when you get home, and you don't let it charge. So if plug and charge is not selected, that means you're just gonna plug it in. It's not gonna start charging unless you tell it to, unless you press the button to tell it to start charging. But if you have Home Assistant, you can tell Google to start charging your car at 5 a.m. or something, so it's gonna be nice and ready for you when you go out or when you go to work, or all sorts of situations like that. Really, really cool. This is the Home Assistant integration that you have, and it gives you all the controls that you have in the app, and it gives you access to all the sensors, which you can do a lot with automation, syncs, scripts, everything that's good about Home Assistant. It also does load balancing if you have more than one charger installed. So think of a commercial setting with multiple of these electrical chargers, and they're going to sort of communicate together to ensure that a maximum output going out collectively, again, doesn't exceed the allowed power supply. The installation is pretty simple, it's relatively simple, but if you're not a trained professional, then you should get someone to install it for you, because we're talking about a lot of amps, and it could be dangerous, could be a fire hazard. You should probably talk to a professional. Their website is in the description below, and there's also there a discount code for you, which is really nice, and I thank them for that. So I hope you've enjoyed this review of the Lectrico 1P7K charger. That's what it's called, 1P7K, which stands for one phase and 7 kilowatts. It's 7.4 kilowatts. If you have any questions or you want follow-up videos on this setup, please put it down in the comments. I think it's a really good quality product, and you can't get better quality than this right now online. You just can't get it. Okay guys, so I hope this helped. Bye.